The moment she tugged my shirt, I felt a weight settle in my chest that I couldn't shake. "Mom, can we just lock the door? Please." Her voice was small, urgent, almost brittle. I followed her down the narrow hallway, my mind racing yet oddly quiet, as though a part of me had already known something was coming. She shut the door behind us, the lock clicking softly, sound that should have been mundane but carried an almost sacred gravity. I watched her hands tremble as she lifted her sweater, breath hitched. The sight of it made time stretch and snap at once. This proof, silent, horrifying, was undeniable. Weeks of whispered promises, of hesitations, of unexplained absences, crystallized in a single, impossible instant. She looked at me, eyes wide and brimming with something I couldn't name. "Uncle Gregory made me promise," she whispered, voice fragile but determined. Single line hung in the room like smoke, making the air dense and almost unbreathable. I wanted to speak, to shout, to act. Instead, paused, listening to the raw edges of her fear and my own pulse. My memories flickered unbidden. I remembered casual visits, moments when her smile had seemed forced, when she avoided certain rooms or conversations. How had I missed these signs? Guilt coiled in me, tight and unrelenting, but alongside it grew a sharper, clearer determination. I would protect her. No matter what. I grabbed my phone, dialing my mother. 10 seconds later, her voice answered, calm, authoritative. "Don't do anything yet. Quiet. Let me handle it." The brevity of her words, the certainty, imposed a strange order on the chaos swelling inside me. The power shifted almost imperceptibly. Guidance and leverage entered the room, and for the first time in hours, I felt a faint relief. We sat there in the quiet, the kind of quiet that carries weight. She leaned against me, small but resolute, as though she understood that protection could exist without spectacle. The plan was simple but firm documentation, careful communication with the school, measured legal consultation. Everything measured, deliberate, controlled. The horror was undeniable, but our response could be deliberate, calm. The subtle reversal of power wasn't loud or flashy, wasn't in anger or confrontation. It was in strategy, in knowing the right authority had been engaged, acknowledging that we could move forward safely. She exhaled a little, finally letting herself feel a sliver of relief. I mirrored her in silence. There was no celebration, no triumph, only the quiet knowledge that she was safe, that we had regained some measure of control over an uncontrollable situation. Yet the tension lingered. The child's trust, once fractured, was fragile. My own sense of guilt and vigilance would not vanish overnight. Relationships would remain tense, even with the intervention of someone so powerful. Trauma doesn't dissolve in the space of a phone call. It persists, shaping every interaction and glance. I stayed with her, holding her hand, letting the silence speak where words could not. There was a calm authority in knowing the external consequence had shifted, her immediate safety secured, psychological landscape remained delicate. I was learning, painfully, how to navigate trust broken within the home. Act decisively without letting fear dictate every step. And in that quiet, uncelebrated space, I realized something important. Power could exist in restraint, in careful orchestration, in patience. My daughter could begin to reclaim her sense of security. I could reclaim my role as her protector, even as the world outside remained uncertain and morally tangled. We did not celebrate, we did not scream, but we moved forward together cautiously and with purpose. The door remained locked. Evidence remained undeniable. And in that stillness, I finally allowed myself to breathe.